Hello, friends. It's so good to be with you today. Have you ever wished for a story that never ends, one that carries you away to a different time and place? Well, there is a collection of stories just like that. It's called 1001 Nights, or sometimes the Arabian Nights. This isn't just one book written by one person. It's a beautiful tapestry woven from threads of many cultures. These tales have journeyed from ancient Persia, India, and across the Middle East. These tales are filled with wonder. You'll find flying carpets that soar through starry skies. You'll discover hidden caves overflowing with treasure. There are powerful genies, brave heroes, and clever heroines. Now you might be wondering, how did all these amazing stories get collected into one place? It all starts with a frame story. This is the tale of a very brave and clever young woman named Scheherazade. She lived in a kingdom ruled by a powerful sultan named Shahryar. The sultan had a broken heart, and his sadness had turned into anger. He had made a terrible vow. Each day he would marry a new bride, and the very next morning he would have her executed. The entire kingdom lived in fear. But Scheherazade, the vizier's daughter, had a plan. It was a risky plan, a dangerous one, but it was filled with hope. And so, with 1,000 tales in her mind, she went to the palace. Today, we are going to dive into one of the very first stories Scheherazade told. It's called The Fisherman and the Genie. It begins with a very old, very poor fisherman. He had a wife and 3 children, and he loved them dearly. Every single day, he would go down to the sea with his worn-out fishing net. His rule was to cast his net only 4 times a day, no more. He believed in this rule with all his heart. He was a simple man with a simple faith. On this particular day, the fisherman walked to the shore, his heart full of hope. He cast his net into the sparkling water for the first time. But when he dragged the net onto the sand, he found it was not a fish at all. It was the carcass of a donkey. His shoulders slumped with disappointment, but he did not give up. He cast his net for the second time, but found only mud, rocks, and broken shells. The third time brought old bones and pieces of broken glass. He had only 1 cast left. With a final prayer, he threw his net into the water for the 4th and final time. The fisherman waited, his eyes fixed on the spot where his net had disappeared beneath the waves. When he began to pull it in, he knew this time was different. The net was so heavy he could barely move it. Inch by inch he dragged his catch onto the beach. Tangled in the ropes was not a fish, but a strange bottle. It was made of yellow brass, and it was sealed shut with a heavy lead cap that bore an ancient, mysterious seal. He thought, maybe it was filled with gold. Using his knife, he carefully pried at the lead stopper. It finally came loose with a soft pop. Then, a thin wisp of smoke began to curl out of the bottle. It grew thicker and thicker, swirling into a giant column that rose high into the sky, blocking out the sun. The smoke began to twist and take shape. A powerful, angry genie stood before him, taller than the highest tree. The genie's voice boomed like thunder. "Speak, you who have freed me. Tell me how you wish to die." The fisherman was trembling, but he managed to stammer, "Why would you kill me? I am the one who set you free." The genie laughed a terrible laugh. "For the first 100 years I was trapped, I promised riches. But no one came. For the next 100 years I promised 3 wishes. Still, no one came. After that I grew angry and swore to kill whoever finally let me out." The fisherman's mind raced. How could he possibly defeat a creature of such immense power? His only hope was to use his wits. He decided to act as if he didn't believe the genie's story. He said, "A being as enormous as you are, fitting inside a bottle as tiny as this one? It's impossible. I simply do not believe you." The genie, his pride wounded, began to transform back into smoke to prove his power. The fisherman watched, holding his breath, as the massive cloud funneled back into the narrow opening of the little brass bottle. Quick as a flash, the fisherman snatched the lead stopper and slammed it back onto the bottle, sealing the mighty genie inside once again. He had done it. His clever trick had worked. He walked to the edge of the water and prepared to throw the bottle back into the deepest part of the sea, where the genie could never harm anyone ever again. His cleverness had saved him. So what can we learn from this wonderful tale? It teaches us that cleverness and wisdom can triumph over brute force and size. No matter how small or powerless we feel, our brain is our most powerful tool. This story reminds us, when we face a big problem, something that seems impossible, we shouldn't give up. Instead of panicking, take a moment to think. We can solve problems, overcome challenges, and stand up to giants through intelligence. So why, after more than 1,000 years, do we still gather to hear stories like The Fisherman and the Genie? They speak to something deep inside all of us. They connect us to generations of storytellers who came before us. It's a magical feeling, knowing that children long ago felt the same thrill when they heard about the genie emerging from the bottle. The adventure doesn't have to end here. There are tales of daring voyages with Sinbad the sailor, and the incredible story of Aladdin, who finds a magical lamp and a friend who can grant his every wish. The world of 1001 Nights is waiting for you. All you have to do is turn the page. I hope you'll join me again for another story. But you don't have to take my word for it.